Welcome to another episode of Bespoke Architects Daily Pinup. I'm Nicole Walters, Director of Bespoke Architects, and I'm about to show you what inspiring architectural images made our Pinterest boards today. There's a real mix of quirky furniture, really interesting storage, a lot of great materials, and some interesting taps, which I will start with. These caught my eye on an email that came in, the industrial style tap. The industrial style is still around. I mean, we're seeing a lot of Hamptons at the moment. That's on trend, certainly here in Geelong. But we still get industrial is, a style that I personally really enjoy working with. And I thought this tap, with its simplicity, was really, really beautiful. And I particularly liked the black with the brushed sort of stainless setup there. I did like the two materials together, and I did like the style of that particular tap. So that's why that's on the board. The next image along from the AR penthouse, it was the decision to put the shower as exposed to the bedroom. I found that a really interesting design choice. I don't know whether it's a case of borrowed light or whether they just really want to be able to see the shower from bed if it's occupied, maybe. Just an interesting design choice. You can see the ornate ceilings have been left, and then this more contemporary insert has happened beneath that. But again, that's just as an inspiring option on a shower, in case nobody has ever considered that before but would think it's really appealing to them. The next one was the gallery over in Japan there. I really liked the combination of these really giant fixed glass windows letting heaps of natural light into the gallery, obviously, and then the choice to pair that with a solid door really makes the door stand out, so you can find the door quite easily. There's two pods we can see here on a 90-degree angle. It's really obvious where that door is, and I like the little concrete sort of rain protection that they've got over that door, or weather protection, I should say. So I felt like it just made the door really stand out, and I really like the contrast of the solid with the opaque. So you can see the clear. I really like the fact that you can see what's happening in the gallery, but the door is really, really obvious. Another door that was obvious from the same gallery was their street door. So we can see it presents not as an open structure like it does here in this courtyard, but more as a solid element. It's got some really beautiful concrete detailing, and the solid timber door that's nestled right in the middle of that is really beautiful. Sibling Architecture did some really quirky things here. It's very 80s to my mind. I really liked this bookcase design where it's got some really big elements in it, and vertical storage of books. It's always interesting. Then we can see some really quirky furniture here in their living space. I did like this concept of, we can obviously see a kitchen, I think that is to the left of that image, a desk to the right, and so this, what could be a dining room table, also doubles as a meeting room table, and then there is a translucent or opaque fabric screen that you can wrap right around that to either conceal the notice board or show the notice board. So I've actually put that up on the screen boards. That is an image of it partially open, partially shut, and that is an image of it completely shut, and just sort of showing you the more intimate space it creates. Also could be of some interest to some cafes given the COVID situation as well. So interesting, and again, the color scheme is really poppy. So that's why that one is on the board. I popped this one up, the Gallery of the Recycled Materials, Journey Through Factories. It wasn't so much the material that caught my eye, just the way they'd done this cantilevered structure. We can see the blade walls underneath there acting as some support, and then they've chosen to break up the car spaces with that. So just a really interesting way of doing car parking. So that's on the car parking board. Another facade that caught my eye today, and I've put it on the materials board, is this one here, or did I put it on the asymmetrical roof form? I may have put it on asymmetrical roof form. So it was just a really lovely balanced elevation. I felt I really like the cantilevered canopy that's down here, the use of the same brick throughout, but the change in form gives it interest, and we can see the first floor sits further forward than the ground floor, so it's not just a box of bricks. That's what I liked about that one. This one here, again, it was color and form, so we can see the giant cantilever happening in between. So it's sort of, if you're figuring you might drive through this particular factory, but I just really liked, again, like I say, the color palette and the form of that, the two sort of C's that we see on end here, broken in the middle by some vertical cladding. It all works really, really well together. And then that elongation of the top portion of the C is really lovely. This converted shipping container into housing, prefabbed housing. Again, it was the material palette that really appealed to me. So we can see they've added timber windows to their shipping containers and then some tile-like cladding to the outside as well. I believe, having read that article, you can click on a pin, obviously, in Pinterest and go through to the original article where I got the information from, and you will read about how these are being built in Mexico and can be shipped, assumably, around at least Mexico. And then finally, this a staircase. I really enjoyed. I do enjoy a staircase, and this was an interesting one where we've sort of got a winder. It's obviously a multi-level staircase, and rather than having this sort of landing that then leads you to the treads, we've got the treads right on landing. I'm not sure I could get that through here in Australia, but it is an interesting sort of visual to look at least, and the skylight above that's really beautiful as well. And then finally, I'll leave you with a further shot of the kitchen at Bespoke Derbyshire House number 4. It is the palette of materials for me in that particular kitchen. It was really, really beautiful. There was a smoked black mirror as the splashback, so that's really reflecting all the lights and texture and scenery back when you're working in that kitchen. We did a light grey, a series of overheads and tall cupboards either end, and then we had this sort of dark grey island bench and base unit on the back, and we had a bespoke timber pendant light for task lighting directly above that island bench. And we're standing, this image is taken on the far side of the dining room table, so the two spaces next to each other. So thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Bespoke Architects Daily Pinup. Until tomorrow, take care. Thanks. Bye.